Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today we're going to try to make the search inputs in the app bar and the side drawer work. Okay, so the idea is a user would type into that input and then hit enter or click on the little search icon, and then the user would then be taken to the search page, and a search would automatically occur. Okay, so I have a few ideas for how this could work. We're going to try them out and we can talk about it. If you all have any ideas, please feel free to mention it in the live chat. For those of you who are new to the show, you are watching me work on an actual project for my job. I'm a full-time front-end developer employed by a small university. So we're working on the new main website for the university. So this is not rehearsed. It's not exactly a tutorial. It's just me going through what I'm doing, but I do my best to explain things, and feel free to ask any questions if you need me to explain things in more depth. I will make mistakes, and that's kind of the point. Y'all can see how many mistakes I make and how I work through the mistakes. I break things up by Pomodoro sessions. So Pomodoro session is usually a 25-minute period followed by a 5-minute break. And so for 25 minutes we'll code, and I'll have minimal interaction with the live chat. And then for 5 minutes I'll go back to the chat, answer any questions, and read all the comments that you have. We'll probably go back and forth and do 2 Pomodoro sessions, and then at the end of the second session I will go through all the questions in the chat and answer, anything that that you all have asked to the best of my ability. So the stream will probably last somewhere between an hour and a half. That's usually the time frame that we have. Okay, I think I got all the intro stuff out of the way. I'm doing my best to try to remember to do that for all the new people. So enough looking at my face. Let me switch over to the code. All right, here we are. Let's start with the UI first, so y'all can see how this actually looks. And I'll start up an ngrok server. I'm going to paste a link here into the live chat. If you go to this URL, you will be able to see the site I'm working on, and it will update live as I am working on it here. Alright, so that link is now in the chat. And there we are. Looks like you're clicking on it. Awesome. So let me... that's the dev site. It's the dev. I guess I don't have the local... Oh, is that it? Localhost. Okay. Alright. So we have 2 search boxes. We have this one up top, and then we have this one in the side nav. So those are what we're going to be working on. And then we have a search page that we're going to navigate to. So just so you get an idea of where things are at. And these are available from any page on the website. So they're always going to have this. Unless you're on mobile, then we get rid of this on the app bar, but it's always there in that side drawer. And let me start my timer, because we're going to get into the code now. So I have the component for search.js here, and if y'all are interested in looking at the code, there's a link to the GitHub repo in the description. So this is quite a large component and could probably use some refactoring, but for now we're gonna leave it like this. And what we need to do in this component is create some way to trigger the search, okay, when we navigate to that. So we need to make sure that we can get the value from the input and then use that to search. Now over here I have the side drawer component, so on the right, and with this component I've already done a little bit with it. Okay, so just some basics stuff. I've put in, let's see, an on-click handler, and it goes to the handle search function. So let's go up to see the handle search function and see what we're doing. Let's see. Okay, so in handle search, all we're doing is saying if a user has actually entered in something into that search box, then we're going to do a router.push. Now this uses the Next.js built-in router. Okay, so if you want to learn more about that, you can go to the documentation for Next.js. It's on GitHub. They have a website. So if you type in Next.js GitHub, it'll probably be the first result that comes up. And it has a lot more about how their router works. But in this case, we're giving it a path name, and then we are using that search term, so whatever the user had typed into that input gets saved in state. So we're just accessing that state for the search input, and we're passing that along as a query string. So let me show you how this looks when we do this. It's going to be hard to see because the app, the address bar is a little small. But we could type in something basic like and if I hit, actually I didn't enable the enter key yet, I just have the click working. So if I click, maybe it's not working. Let's try that again. There we are. Okay, so when I clicked, it took me up here, and just in case you can't read it, I'll read this out. So we now we're on the search page, so it's /search, and then question mark, search equals the. Okay, so we have in the URL the search term. So I figured that'll probably be the main way that we can grab that data. The other idea I had is passing it by props. But either way, it might not be a bad idea to put the search term in the URL, because if we can get that working, it would enable users to then save a search term, or save a search, and then they can come back, let's say they bookmarked a search, and those same results will be there. Okay, so there's definitely some other benefits to doing it this way. It may not be the most direct way. I think props would be a little bit more direct, but I think this is something that we probably should do. Okay. Let me go back then. So unless someone has a different idea for how to do this, I guess we'll move along and basically start working in the search component to do two things. One, check to see if there's a search term in the URL, and then if there is, initiate a search. Okay, so that's what we want to do here. If we run into a dead end there, we could potentially attempt to pass a search term by props, and maybe that would be a little bit easier. I'm not sure about it though. So I'm going to make a little bit of space so we can focus on this. Let me know if the font's too small. I could make it a little bigger. So right now, a search is triggered on a change in the search input. So I guess we could okay, it looks like the font's too small, so I'll make that bigger. Okay. I don't think I can go much bigger than that without it being pretty hard to see. Just wouldn't be able to see that much code at once, but so hopefully this is okay. So I'm thinking, there's a few ways we could do this. We could put the search term into the input in this page, or we could manually trigger a search. So what I mean by that is, let's say like when the component loads, we'll just call fetch search term. All right, after we've already set the state for the search string. Okay, so either way, I think we can get it to work. Michael says, why not cache the search on the client side? I think that's a great idea, and that's definitely a feature we could work on. Today I'm worried about doing this though. Okay. All right, so let's try. First off, let's take the first step. Let's just see if we can get the URL, the search term out of the URL. So I suppose we want to do this on a mount. So we'll try component did mount, and this is a built-in lifecycle method. So that means it comes by default with React, and this will run when the component mounts. So within here, let's try. We'll just try to do a console log. Actually, you know what? We could do search term. Let's just have the have it appear right in the input. So we'll have the search term appear in the input. I just need to remember what part of the state that goes into. So where are we at? Okay. Value is search term. Okay. So instead of console log, we could say this state search term equals, and then just to start out, let's do like a window location, and then I can't remember what it is. I might have to look this up. Anybody remember off the top of their head? It's window location what to get the query string? Is it query? Nah. Yeah. Let me look this up on my other screen. Okay. All right, so I'm just checking out window.location on MDN, Mozilla Developer Network. That's a really good resource, and I'm hoping that they show all of the different options for window.location. All right, it returns an object. Let me just check this here in our console. Let's clear this out. So, window location, and let's see what we get. Search. There we are. Search. Window location. Search. Okay, so we'll get. You see the value of search here. Make it a bit bigger. we are going to have to do some stuff to get this value out of there. So let's not worry about this for now. I just want to see if we can get something. So we can do search. Okay, and let's see if this works. Oops. I'm sorry, I definitely should not have done that. I'm sure one of you probably caught that and are already telling me in the chat. So this state search term. Oops. This set state, and now we're going to do search term, and this is what we're going to do. Okay, all right, that's what we want to do. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about here is we are doing server-side rendering, so obviously window is not going to work for server-side rendering. So we'll see how that works out. Let's see if this even works. I guess I'll refresh. Okay, I guess it didn't work. We can, let's be 100% sure by going to our React DevTools and let's see what our state is. Search term. Yep, search term is still blank. Okay, so for whatever reason, I suppose component did mount is not working. So let's see. All right, Michael says window location search dot substring 1. Actually, let's try that in the console to see if that would work. No, it's still giving us the same. Yeah, it's just taking out the question mark. Which I guess, I mean, it's a little bit better without the question mark. Okay. Oh, okay. Nikki says, I can't find that response again, but get initial props has access to the query param, so you can check for one there for the first search, making the URL shareable. Sorry about the yawns. For some reason, I just yawn so much when I'm streaming. Okay. All right, let's try that. Let's try to run get initial props and see if we have more luck with that. Okay, and it looks like we can access the query param. So I think we ought to go to the documentation first to see exactly how we do this. So I'm going to go to Next.js on GitHub. And let me make this bigger. And I'm going to try to find get initial props. Okay, there we are. So fetching data and component lifecycle. Actually, this is good to know. I didn't realize you could use these for stateless components. Cool. Initial props. All right, here we are. So get initial props receives an object with these properties. Path name, query. Okay, cool. We should be able to get the query then. Awesome. Nikki said, types next in browser. The first result is Next.js GitHub page. Sounds about right. Yeah, I'm there often. Okay. All right, let's see. I don't think they have example of getting the query. That would be kind of cool, but it shouldn't be too difficult. Alright, this is actually another way to do it. We could have made that a link. Alright, it's fine. It works the way we do it. Yeah, we do use with route instead. Alright, let's just see what we get with query here. So I guess I can copy and paste this. Oops. This one. And then we'll just change it to what we need. Okay. Let's get rid of this one. Actually, let's keep that for now. And then we'll copy and paste what we need into there. So, we want the query. And let's see. Let's just do this for now. Oops, Gonna prop should resolve an object, but found and defined instead. I wonder if I have to return it something. There we are. Alright, nothing's happening there. Okay, well, maybe I can do this props query. Oops, I'll do a console log. That's weird. For some reason, nothing we're doing in component did mount is actually working. Okay. Check my time. Okay, about 5 minutes. I'll come back to the live chat and answer some questions. Okay. All right. Let me think. Actually, you know what? We can see what's here. If we go to React, oops. Let's check out this, and we should be able to see it in props. Okay, so props query. Oh. Okay, so we're getting the older version. So in the documentation down here, it says if you're using with router, you just get these three, in which our query then is an object, and it didn't give us the info that we needed. So All right, let me see why it's doing this instead of another one. I usually don't like to just read when I'm streaming, but I think this section is definitely going to help us here. Each top of currency with router instead. Oh, Curtain Call says, is there 2 component did mount? Do I have it twice? That might explain why it's not working. That's excellent. Awesome. Okay, so evidently our component did mount. We have 2 of them, and that's why it's not working. Actually, though, I think, yeah, actually, let's do that. Let's yeah, let's go back to what we were doing, and then we don't even have to worry about why we're getting one form of the information we should get and get initial props instead of the other form that we want. Okay, so what we'll do then is get rid of that and put it down here. Okay, why am I getting this? Oh, because it's the second. Good job catching that. That's I didn't even see that. So who did that? Curtain Call. Thank you. All right. Okay, so let's see now if it'll actually change. All right, cool. Okay, so that actually did work. So it changed this, and now it has what we want, but well, not exactly what we want, right? So let me go up. Some of you put in, who did? Albert. Okay, so Albert said we could split what we've got here. Okay. Well, I think my timer's going to go off. Okay, so next step in our next Pomodoro session is going to be, let's grab the actual term out of here and leave all the rest off, and then we'll initiate a search. Which actually this shouldn't be too hard. The rest of it is pretty. I think it's pretty straightforward. Okay. Let me set this timer to 5 minutes. I'm going to scroll all the way to the top of the chat and just work my way down. So if you just ask something, I may not get to it in this 5-minute session, but I'll get to it after the next Pomodoro session. All right, I'm just kind of skimming down and trying to find the questions here. Nikki says, how are you doing? How's the wrist? I'm doing way less coding lately. Need a break. Just watching relevant videos daily. This is the one. No pressure. Yeah, my wrist is. I mean, it's doing okay. It still hurts. So the timeline, I think, is like it'll actually feel worse than it did before the surgery for about 6 weeks. Then it'll start to feel better. But I'm looking at maybe like 3 months before I'm really feeling normal. So I'm going to try to strengthen it, just maybe like stretch it a little bit, because right now it's pretty stiff. So I'm just going to try to do more and more with it every day and see how that goes. But I mean, just typing all day, like at the end of the day, my wrist is sore just from that. So like without putting any weight on it at all, it just gets sore. So it'll just take time, I mean, which is expectable, after surgery. It's expected. Yeah, it's expected after surgery. Nikki says, add a dot trim to that check in handle search, prevents spaces from triggering search. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Let's see. Nikki says, I posted something on an issue a while ago about making the search URL shareable, going to look for it. Yeah, I remember what you posted on that issue. So yeah, I remember you posted that, and I remember thinking it's a good idea at the time, but I wasn't sure if that was something we'd be able to get in before launch. And remind me after the next session to give you an update on launch date. I just had a pretty long meeting this morning where we talked a lot about what's going to happen on the website, so I do have some updates on that. Curtin calls this font size is okay, but it's so very bright and clumsy. It is bright. It is bright. I'm not sure what a clumsy font means, but I guess I'm open to suggestions for fonts, though. Gino asks, should new junior developers skip Ruby on Rails, Python, Django, and PHP Laravel and just focus on Angular, React, Vue, Node, and Express, and MongoDB? It just depends on what you want to work on. If you have the ability to just pick what you want to work on, I mean, I would go more with the full stack JavaScript, type of stuff. To me, it's like if you can learn one language and do front end and back end, like why not? Instead of trying to learn two different languages. All right, you're gonna have to know JavaScript no matter what if you're gonna do anything at all with front end. So that would be my option. But you don't always have that luxury. Sometimes you get a client or you get a job and you have to learn, what you need to get the job done. So, I think it would be fine either way, but I would lean more towards the full stack JavaScript. Pukin Lung, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but Pukin Lung says, actually, what is this project? It is the main website for the university that I work for. All right. Albert says, isn't this project a little too big for just one developer? I don't know. Maybe it is, but I'm the only one working on it. Well, I shouldn't say that. You all are helping a lot. So, yeah, but it's just me. So at some point in the future, it'd be awesome if we could hire some more developers here and I would have a team. But right now, there's only 2 developers in my department, and we both work on totally separate projects. So this is what I have right now. Okay. My timer is up. I'm going to jot down where I'm leaving off here in the comments. Okay. All right, so let's reset this timer here for 25 minutes. After the session's up, I'll get to the rest of your questions. And all right, where were we? Oh, okay. You know what? We're on the search. Now, what did we want to do? I think it was Nikki had an idea to do the trim. Actually, I'm not going to worry about that right now, because then I'm going to lose track. I'll just try to remember that. If I forget it, and you have time, Nikki, please just make it an issue or something. Or, I mean, if you don't have time, don't worry about it. I'll try to remember. But I really want to get this working in this next Pomodoro session, so I'm just going to go straight to it, even if it's not ideal. Okay, so we now have the data, and we just need to split this string. Alright, so let's see what we can do. Let's see. Actually, let's just look up. Okay, so for those of you, especially for those who are new, no, I don't want this. I want the MDN. Especially for those of you who are new, sometimes it can seem like there's a lot of stuff to learn. You have to remember it, but like realistically, I've been doing this for at least 5 years. I'm getting paid full time to do this, and I can't remember exactly how to use .split, right? So it's not a big deal to have this stuff memorized when all you have to do is type it into the search bar and now you have it. So, and I kind of like doing this because I usually learn something new about a thing. So even though I'm just trying to figure out what's the syntax, if I spend a little extra time reading this, I find out new stuff. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is just don't get too bent out of shape if you can't automatically remember syntax for how to do things, because really it's not a big deal. Okay, so we got our separator and then our limit. So our separator in this case is going to be that equal sign. So we need our string dot split and then the equal sign, and that'll give us an array, and we should need the second value in the array, which in this case would be 1 because the array started 0. Okay, so let's go back and try this out. Where do we do this? Oops, it's in our component did mount. Here we are. So instead of just this set state and we're adding window location search, it's going to be window location search dot split, and then it's going to be 1 and oops, no, equals, sorry, equals. And I don't know if we can do this all at once, but I'm a little bit curious. So I'm going to say, oops, should be parentheses, equals. And I probably should put this, there we are. Okay, equals. And I'm going to try to do this. I don't know if it'll work, but if it does, that'll be kind of cool, and it'll let us keep this all in one line. So let's save that, and we should see the result now. Yay, it worked. Okay, cool. So if you're not sure what I just did there, so from this value is giving us that whole search thing with the question mark and the equal sign, and then once we split it, now it returns an array, right? That has 2 items in the array, the 0th item and the first item, right? So now we're saying we just want the first item. So what gets returned out of here is a string that's that search term that we're looking for. Okay, so this is actually going to work perfectly unless for some reason we have more than one parameter there in the query string, in which case we would have to modify this. I can't really foresee a reason why we would have more than one on the search page. So I think this should be safe for now, but just for you all, if you're trying to do something like this, if you think you may have more than one thing, you're definitely not going to be able to do it like this, just like this. You have to modify it a bit. Okay, so now that we have this and we've put it into state, what we can do, so we've set the state, and then we can trigger, I want to double check this function and make sure this will work. We can trigger fetch search term. Okay, we don't have to pass anything. Yeah. So let's do that. and let's say this dot fetch search term. Okay, let's see if that works. Alright, that's interesting. Okay, so let's see what this... Whoops. I want to see what the... this ended up being. Oh, interesting. Okay, maybe that's pulling from somewhere else. Let's double check. So we're setting the state to that value. Which part of the state? We're setting search term to equal that, but maybe it's pulling from somewhere else. This fetch search term. So search say base search string. This state search term. Okay, it is supposed to be grabbing the search term. And then also the search type is supposed to be on the end of that. So we shouldn't have anything. So by default, there's not going to be any parameters at the end. This is weird. So the search term. Yeah, this should be okay. This state search term. All right, I'm going to console log within here. What is this? Let's see if that'll work. It's giving me an error there, but console. All right, let's see. All right. All right, let me go back. Let's double check in our React dev tools. Let's see what we have. Where's our search? Search term is the. Okay. All right, that's interesting. All right, I want to see what gets triggered on this search here. On change this get search results. Maybe we should do that instead. Yeah, let's do get search results. I think I was skipping a few functions and trying to go straight to that one. So not sure if this will solve the problem, but this is probably the way we want to go anyway. So let's do that. All right, you know what? I'm going to move these up because I'm used to these being up at the top. I just feel more comfortable if they are. Okay. I like having the default like life cycle methods there at the top. Okay. So instead of fetch search term, it's going to be get search results. Okay. Cannot read property. Oh, there we go. Cannot property target of undefined. Stop value. I'm at 50. Oh, 96. Why am I using there? Okay. Okay, so the search term is getting set to value, but there is no value. Alright, so maybe then what we want to do is debounced search. Okay, let's do that then. Debounced search. Okay. Hey, there we are. It worked this time. Cool. Okay, let's verify that again. Make sure it worked. Okay, great. Now let's try it. Let's try it again, straight from this search. Oops, forgot. Awesome. So we've actually added two kind of layers of functionality. Not only will that work from that search input, but also now any URL, we could type whatever we want in, and it'll automatically do a search. So this will enable being able to bookmark search results, which is awesome. Now the only thing we need to change is right now, if I were to do a search straight from this page, then you see this stays the same, right? So we need to update it so a search from the search page actually updates this as well, and we can do that with the next router. So that'll be the next step for then. And then also we're going to have to hook up this one instead of just a side drawer. But that shouldn't be too hard. It's just going to be a copy and paste into this app bar component. So let's see how much time we have, how much we can get done. Okay, a little over 10 minutes. Let me check the real time. It's 1:48. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to, since we got this working, and the rest of it is just going to be a matter of kind of copying what we've already done, I'm going to end now, even though it's a little bit early, and go to the questions. That way I'll have a little bit more time for questions. I do have to make it over somewhere else here on campus to do some paperwork. And the person I need to meet, I believe, is leaving in about an hour. So I want to make sure I can get over there in enough time. So I should probably double check. I'm going to double check the email. 1 to 4. Oh, actually, no. I think I have more time than that. Yeah, I do have more time. All right, let's try to get something done then. Sorry about that. So I think they're going to be here for another 2 hours. So we do have time. So let's all right, well, let's add this in over here as well, so that this also will work. Also, it'd be cool to make it so that we could hit enter. So that's actually the only new functionality that I think will be added with this. So let's do that. And I'm not sure if I've ever done that before with React. I don't think I have. All right, so this will be cool. I'll learn something new here. Okay. Oh, so I'm not going to do it on here. It'll be over here in the drawer component. Alright, so the handle search needs to be triggered when we hit enter. Alright, so I'm just going to look this up. If anybody knows how to do it, put it in the chat, please. Otherwise, let's look this up, and let's say detect okay. Awesome. So Stack Overflow to the rescue. This is exactly what we need. We need to call an event after pressing enter key. I don't know what I just did. Okay. According to React docs, there we are. Alright, let's just read the React docs instead. Keyboard events. Alright, awesome. So there's an on key press. And then we can do the character code. Nice. Keyboard events. Alright, so on key press. So let's add that into where are we at? We'll put it here on our input. On key press. And let's see. Let's see if there's an example here. Key press. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we're gonna add. Okay. Alright, this works. So this handle search change. Let's see. Curtain call is saying key press which 13. Actually, is there a way I could do it right there? Alright, I'm not sure. Michael's saying in a switch. Yeah, no, but I know the enter value is 13, but I was just wondering if there was some like shorthand way that I could do that like here, right? Or if I actually had to modify this handle search. Oops, it shouldn't have been handle search change. Should it? Search change. No, it should be handle search. There we are. Okay. All right, Niki's saying, doesn't an input inside a form automatically submit on enter, or does React prevent that? Yeah, I don't know if we even want a submit in this case, you know? Oh, okay, Justin has some code here. All right, this looks really cool. Let me do that. All right, where am I at? Okay, let me see if this works, and then if it does, I'll go in and explain what's happening. Where am I at? Oops. Unexpected character. That's weird. Okay, so that did not work. Okay, here's another one. Alright, so that didn't work. So I'm not going to go over it since it didn't work, but it would have been cool. It looked cool. Alright, I guess we could just do it like we saw in the example on Stack Overflow, right? It would be cool to do it differently, but this will definitely work. Okay. Why am I still having this? This is weird. Why is it still giving me an error? Actually, this is really weird. I think... Let me try this again. I think something may have gotten copied. Something might have gotten copied weird. Let me try this one more time. Alright, check this out. Okay, enter's not doing anything. What? Okay, so that's, I mean, we're not getting an error or anything, but nothing's happening when I hit enter. Key. I wonder if we're getting the right. Let's try key code and We'll go with 13. Let's try this. I never tried to just use the name of the key before, so I mean maybe it works, but let's just try it like this and see if that is the issue. Nope, not the issue. Oh well. Justin, I think that was an awesome idea. I'm not 100% sure why it's not working. Curtain Call says try E key which. Try enter lowercase instead of enter uppercase. That's what Albert says. E key console log. Okay, we could console log it. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's do that for now. Let's just get rid of that and do E console log. E key. Okay, so what this should do is just tell us what key is being pressed in the console. Alright, that should work, right? Enter should definitely be working there. Okay, so let's go. So this should definitely work if E, and so now we're doing a ternary, right? So shouldn't you do on key press E without the braces? Curtain Call says, shouldn't you do on key press E without the braces? No, we need the braces in React because otherwise it won't interpret that as JavaScript. Okay, so if E key equals enter, if it does equal enter, then let's call this dot handle search. Otherwise, we're going to say null. Okay. Okay, so what is happening? Let's alright, let's just try to figure out where the problem is happening. Okay, so we're just going to console log the word search. It should console log when the enter key is pressed, right? Oops, there we go. Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. All right, so we just had we know that this is working, so the issue, let's check this out. Handle search. If this state search is not equal router push past name. Okay. So we need to do, oh, you know what? I wonder if it's a this issue. So that's gonna be my guess. It's a this issue within here. So Nikki just said the same thing. It's a this issue, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. So let's see how we can all right, let me see what, okay, so Justin's saying try it like that. Okay. I'm going to try that first because that's going to be the easiest thing. If this works, then this will be very easy. All right, awesome. That was it. So normally in React you can just do this, right? You can say this dot handle search, right? And you don't need, and in fact you don't want to actually put the parentheses here you normally do to invoke a function, right? But in this case, since it's not exactly the same, right, we're actually entering into the inside of another function, right? We needed to invoke that. So awesome. Great job, Justin, just for coming up with this in the first place, and then also for figuring out what the problem was. So really appreciate that. And that took a little bit longer, but this is, honestly, this looks really clean. I like it. And we didn't have to modify handle search and clutter it up there with some if statements. So actually, I really like this, right? So we avoid even having to call that function, right? So we do our check here. Otherwise, we would have been actually calling this other function and then doing the check. So I don't know. The difference in performance is probably so small, it's insignificant, but I like how it looks. And it was kind of cool. Cool to learn, how to do that. So anyway, that's all I'm going to do for today because my timer ran out a while ago. I was just so into it, I wanted to keep going until we got it. So we pretty much got almost everything that I wanted. Well, we definitely achieved what I wanted to achieve. We added some extra things I'd like to do there, and we didn't get to all of those, but pretty close. So I think it's definitely a good stream in terms of getting things accomplished. So status, add, and I'm gonna commit this so you all can have the code available to you on GitHub immediately. So let's add this new feature, and let's say enable side drawer search input. Enable side drawer search. Yeah, that works. This does affect an open issue, so let's put yes, and let me see. Let's figure out what issue. I love it when I type G in and GitHub actually is higher than Gmail in my suggested sites. That's pretty awesome. So I'm going to go check out the issues here. I know I have an issue about this. Change that post tags. I guess it would just be under implement search. Maybe I don't have a separate issue. Okay, I don't think I made a separate issue about it. I do have a separate kind of card in my Trello board for it, but it's the same issue. So that's issue number 74. So we're just going to say RE for regarding number 74. Okay, and when we add that in, then there's going to be a little spot, and I guess I can show you how this looks right now because I think I've done it before. So you can see here the reference. Oh yeah, did I say regarding? I mean reference. I don't know why I thought it was regarding. Okay, anyway, so this issue is now referenced in this commit. It's referenced in this commit, and this commit, and this commit. So at least kind of a nice log of, hey, this is getting worked on, and here's what we've done to work on it. Okay, so you don't want to have to manually come here and give an update, but this lets everybody know that this issue isn't dead, right? It's being actively worked on, and here's what's been done. All right, so that went through. It passed all the tests, and now I can do a git push, and this will go straight up to GitHub, and you all can check it out. Feel free to fork this repo and make any contributions that you want. Submit a pull request. I'm definitely open to that, and I'll help you out if you have any trouble with it. All right, cool. So let's check this. We won't get an auto refresh on GitHub. At least I don't think you will, but here we are. There's our commit. So enable side drawer search. All right, cool. So I'm going to scroll back up to where I left off in the chat. So if you have any questions or anything or comments, put it in there. When it comes to the comments, I totally enjoy compliments and nice things, but if you have something critical to say, feel free to say it. I want to make these streams as good as they possibly can be so that they're helpful to you all. So if you think that there's something I'm doing wrong or something that I could do that I'm not doing, please, let me know. I can't always do everything, that you say, but I definitely want to hear what you think. So don't be afraid to put critical comments in there. Occasionally people put, comments that are pretty rude, and I'm totally cool with that. It doesn't bother me, especially because 99.9% of you are super positive and nice about it. That definitely outweighs everything else. And if I ever get to the point where 99% of them are all negative, then I'll know that maybe it's time to stop because this is not useful for you all. Okay. Saifaldeen says, hi. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Alexandro says, hello, afternoon, I'm Brazilian. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching. Anand wants to know where the first video in the series is or the playlist. There's a playlist on, so if you click on playlists on freeCodeCamp, go to the project number 5 playlist for live coding with Jesse. I think it might be called React Project 5 or something. But if you go to that playlist, that should have all the videos in order. There's quite a few videos. This is number 91 just in this playlist with Project 5. So, I definitely recommend if you're going to watch, maybe try to watch it on 2x speed and, maybe skip around videos just to focus on what you're interested in. If you have the time to watch them all, that's awesome. But if you don't have the time, then that's probably the best way to go about it. Okay. Anna says, hey Anna, how's it going? I feel like I haven't talked to you in a really long time. I guess it has been because I didn't stream for a while after my surgery and stuff. So, let me know how's it going? What's new with you? I'm really glad you get to catch the stream today. Curtain Call at one point said, it's bad to code when you get so very tired. Yeah, it's for sure. So this is just a little tip from Curtain Call and from me, in case you haven't been there yet. Sometimes it seems like a good idea to stay up really late and code, but I've found that I definitely make more mistakes after a certain point. Like I stay up late and I code, and I do good for a while, but after a certain point, it's just not worth it. Right, because you mess things up. So it'd be a good idea to find out where that point is for you, and then stop. When I first moved into the house that I live in right now, it needed a lot of work. It was the house was completely trashed. So we got a good deal on it, but we had to work. So I used to have a rule that if I messed up twice in a row, I'm done for the night. So that means if I measured wrong twice, if I had to cut something twice in a row because I was building walls and stuff, so I was cutting 2x4s and drywall and stuff like that. So I would say, okay, if I had to recut something twice, I'm done, because at that point I would just be wasting materials and wasting my time. So I kind of have a similar thing with my code, right? If I start really messing up consistently, then I'm done, because at that point there's not. It's just not efficient anymore. I would get more benefit if I slept for a little bit and then woke up and started to code again. So, sometimes it's an emergency, server's down or something, you really got to do it. But if you can, that's a good point to go to sleep. So, anyway, hopefully that rule will help somebody at some point. Lakshan says, which JS framework is best for mobile app development? I would recommend React, so React Native. Okay, I think React Native is good. I've messed with like doing Ionic before. It's pretty good, but honestly, I've been super impressed with React Native, with how easy it is to get things going, with the quality of the apps. I like React Native, so that's my recommendation. I've heard Vue either already has something to do native apps with Vue, or they're going to come out with it. So I don't know how far along they are with that, or if it's possible yet. But I mean, that's another option. But obviously, I've never used it, so I can't really comment on the pros and cons of it. Oh, Nikki said also Flutter. Nikki said that Flutter is pretty awesome. Has anybody used Flutter? So if you're not sure what Flutter is, it's like a framework or some type of system to build native apps. So I don't know if they just announced it at the Google I/O conference, or it was already out and they just talked about it. But that was the first time I heard about it. But I haven't used it yet, and I haven't watched any videos on it or anything like that. But I would like to know how it is. So if anybody has used Flutter to build an app or anything like that, let me know in the chat, please, or in the comments down below if you're watching the recording of this, because I'm definitely interested in it. I mean, I'm still I like React Native, but I'm always open to learning new things. Akshan says, I think I have to learn a lot to learn React framework. Well, I mean, you don't have to know that much to just get started with it, but to really do more advanced things, it does take a little while. For bigger apps, like state management becomes a big issue. So there are some things about React that take a lot of time to learn, but just to get up and started with something basic, it shouldn't take too much work. It does depend on how familiar you are already with JavaScript, though. But don't be intimidated by it. I was really intimidated by it at first, but it ended up being a lot easier than I thought it would be, especially React Native. React Native was so much easier than I thought. For some reason, I was just super intimidated by it. But it ended up being not only easier than I thought, but way more fun than I imagined. In asked, how do I feel? Not bad, actually. Like my wrist hurts, but the doctor said that's normal. It should hurt. He actually said I was able to give him like a normal handshake with my right hand, which is the one that I had surgery on, and he was pretty impressed that I was able to shake his hand like I did. So I guess that means I'm doing well. So I just need to relax and take it slow. Other than that, I feel pretty good. I haven't really been able to do like my normal exercise routine, so that's got me thrown off a bit. And from all that time off that I had and like not working out, my sleep schedule is so thrown off. So so hard for me to go to sleep, which is probably why I'm yawning, because I'm running off of less sleep than I normally get because I just have trouble falling asleep. But anyway, and thanks for asking. I'm not going to go on anymore because I don't know how many people actually care about my sleeping habits right now, but I appreciate you asking though. All right, Nikki says, do you have a thick elastic band? Those are great for wrist exercises. Oh, I'm sure I have one somewhere. I'll have to see. I think right now I don't want to actually add any weight or resistance because my wrist hurts enough just without anything. I don't know if you see, me just doing this right now hurts. And if I try to actually spin it in a circle, that hurts. So I don't need to add any weight. Anna says, my branch is waiting for merge. Oh, awesome. I'm going to check that out after the stream's over. So hopefully I'll have time to get it merged in today. I'm super excited about that. Thank you so much for contributing. Curtain Call says, question, do you manually normalize search input query somehow, or it's React Router's duty? I imagine things are happening on React. So I'm not doing anything to normalize it. So I'm kind of trusting that the router, and so I'm not using React router. I'm using the Next router. So although I love React router, since Next JS has a router built in, when I use Next, I do that. If I use Create React App, I use React router. If I use React Native, I use React router. Or actually, it's called React Native router, but same, but just for React Native. Michael says his first day of school for the kid, freshman in high school. I love him, but he's been getting on my last nerve. Now the teachers can have him back. Yeah, my kids are gonna go to school soon too. I have mixed feelings about it. So like, I'm not home with them all day, so I don't know. Like, I'm gonna miss them, but at the same time, like, usually I'm at work during that time, so it's not gonna be that different for me. The only difference is, like, I'm gonna have to be more strict about getting them to bed on time, and I'll probably have to wake up earlier so that I can help get them ready for school, and drive them to school. So, yeah, I actually my youngest son Ambrose he just turned 4 and he's gonna go to 4-year-old preschool. So he hasn't been to school before, and he was really excited. But then he told me a few days ago that he was nervous about it. So I hope he does all right. I'm worried about him. I don't want him to be sad for preschool. So we'll see how that goes. Oshan at some point said late again. What did I miss? I'm not sure how far along we are when you came in. So I guess I'm not sure. You can definitely check out the recording though, but I can't remember at what point we were when you asked that. Curtain Call asks, it looks like you're using headless WordPress as a JSON backend. Any optimizations done, or it's good out of the box? So yeah, for the search, we're just using the REST API. I added a plugin to get multiple post types. So normally with the REST API, you can only get one post type at a time. Since we're trying to search for everything at once, we are using that plugin. Otherwise, there's no optimizations. Now, for some of the other sections on the website, I'm using GraphQL. So we have a GraphQL plugin that lets you use GraphQL with WordPress. So, but in terms of just what we worked on today, it's just REST API with one additional plugin. And I don't know how familiar you all are with WordPress, but the REST API used to be an additional plugin, and it was kind of like in a testing phase. It's now merged into WordPress core, so that means it comes by default with WordPress, and it's turned on by default, and it's stable, so it's safe to use in production. Okay. All right, I'm skipping over some of the questions because they had to do with debugging what was happening there, so they're not really relevant anymore. Nikki says, oh cool, a loading indicator, when did that get added? Monday. All right, Michael already answered that. Yeah, we did that on Monday. Okay, Nikki mentioned the .trim again. All right, I'm glad you mentioned that again because I would be likely to forget. Gia says, hi, just tuned in. Please tell me you're going to take a look on login with the routing, so admin/user. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there. So Gio, if you could explain that a little bit more, what you mean by that, I'd definitely be happy to answer it, but I'm not sure right now how to answer that. All right, Phoenix says, hey, I had a one-on-one call with Quincy today. Such an amazing guy he is. It was great talking to him. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Quincy is really cool. I've talked to him a few times, like mostly through email and things, and also by video call. And yeah, really nice and really good guy. So I'm actually going to get a chance to meet him and a lot of the other Free Code Camp people in person next week. So like next weekend, I will be in New York for like a Free Code Camp meetup type of thing. So I'm really excited for that. So I know I mentioned this, I think, on Monday, but I'll mention it again because I'm sure there's different people watching. So this is a different time slot that I streamed in. Next week, I will be in Salt Lake City, Utah for a while, and then I'll also be in New York City. I'll be staying in Brooklyn. So if anybody is anywhere near Salt Lake City, Utah, or New York City, and would like to hang out, please let me know. That would be kind of cool. So just, I don't know, send me a DM on some social media or whatever, and be happy to, like, I don't know, go get a coffee or whatever, you know. So let's see. I lost my place. Sorry. Let's see. All right, cool. Kingsley says, great job. Kurt McCall says, drum roll. Let's see. Tech Trick said, good job. Thank you. Those all came right at the time where we finally got it to work. So thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, it was kind of like a matter of time before we narrowed down what the problem was. And really, it was Justin who came up with the final solution there. Curtain Call says, what's the name of the plugin for committing from console, the one referencing repository fixes and so on? It's called Commitizen. Oh, okay, Michael already answered that. Yeah, so check out Commitizen. It's really cool. Harshit, who frequently watches the stream and has done a lot of contributing, Harshit found that and set that up for this project. So want to give credit where that's due. It wasn't, I didn't find out about it. He did, but I'm glad he did. Mammy says, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Let me know how I should pronounce it. But Mammy says, thanks. This really helped me a lot. You're a great teacher. I just can't see it, but I listen. Okay, yeah, I'm really sorry about the font if it's hard to see. I can't really go any bigger because we wouldn't be able to see enough code on the screen for it to make sense. But I'm really glad that it helped you out, though. E4, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it says, what's the name of your Night GitHub theme extension? GitHub Dark. I think it's just called GitHub Dark. Humberto says, I tend to think more clearly when I'm exhausted. Yeah, I mean, sometimes there is some things about being a little bit tired that can help you, but at some point, tired is just not good for work. At least that's been my experience. Pukin Lung says, it's so interesting, this live, hope to see more often. Oh, awesome. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do this as many times a week as I can, and I'm gonna get a new computer for my home office soon that should make it so that I can stream better with better quality from home. So hopefully that'll mean I get to stream more often. Oh, cool. So Nikki added a PR that adds trim. Awesome. Thank you, Nikki. Nikki says, pretty sure it's the smallest PR ever. It might be. Let's see. Michael says, I think I did once that fixed a one-word typo in a README. That still counts. It does. It still counts as a pull request. Keytron says, the word headless triggers me. I mean, person completely wrecked my life with their Raspberry Pi headless server. Let's see. Monir says, hi. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching. Adrian says, hi, how are you? Pretty good, pretty good. How you doing? Nikki says, haven't written any code for a while and don't plan to either, but that hit felt good. Good. Curtain Cole says, just returned to WordPress after many years and it's getting better. Now includes JSON REST API. It looks okay. Yeah, and actually, there's going to be a new like WordPress editing experience. It's called Gutenberg. I believe it's built with React and it uses the REST API. So I haven't tried it yet, but it's going to go live with the next release of WordPress. So you can choose to go back to the old experience if you download a plugin for it, but across the board for all new installations, it's going to be live. So be ready for that if you have WordPress, or if you're away from WordPress and just want to check it out. Then I don't know exactly when the new release is coming, but that's whenever it does come. It's Gutenberg will be there. Curtain Cole says, I enjoy the teamwork. Yeah, it's awesome. All right, Michael says, speaking of which, where's Harshit been? Neek says he's on vacation. Yeah, he's on vacation right now. He stopped in just like really briefly on Monday and said hi and said he was on vacation. He haha says, will you make a Discord server? Do we have a Discord server yet or not? I don't think we do. We had a lot of other things, but not a Discord server. Actually, let me know. If you all think it would be cool to have a Discord server for this stream, let me know. I could maybe think about starting one. I know we already have several other places, things that we've started up, and like none of them has ever, I think, really taken off. They usually die out. But I don't know. I have several other Discord servers that I'm checking regularly. So for me, it might not be a bad thing since I already am on Discord frequently. So anyway, just let me know. Baraka says, which date and time is the meetup in New York? Whatever, let me see. I don't remember what the date is. It's like the 19th. I'm going to bring my calendar up on my other screen so I can tell you what the date is. Okay, so I'm flying into New York on the 18th, and then the meetup is that night. So the meetup is like invite only. But I will be there on the 18th and the 19th, and then I will fly back on the 20th. So I will be around, not that long, but I'll be around for a little bit. And then I'll be in Salt Lake City. I'll get there on the 15th, and I will leave like around midnight on the 17th. Says, what languages do you know? I'm assuming that's programming languages. So JavaScript, some PHP. I've done some stuff, but I wouldn't say that I know Python, Java, C++, C. I think that's it. Oh, Solidity. Yeah, so those are the programming languages that I've done things with. Of course, I'm not counting HTML or CSS as programming languages, and I'm not interested in arguing whether they are or not. But I mean, I think it kind of goes without saying, if you're a front-end dev, you know HTML and CSS. Justin says, I'm giving a lunch and learn at work on progressive web apps in 2 weeks. Do you have any advice for me? I don't know. Honestly, I think it would be cool if you're going to give a talk on progressive web apps. I think it might be really cool to have a demo app available, just so that people can download it on their phone and then have them put their phone on airplane mode and then use it. That's kind of cool, just to demonstrate that you can use stuff offline, because that like generally is like, that's the most impressive thing about progressive web apps for most people. So I think that would be kind of a fun, like, hands-on thing, and it could be something like right at the beginning you put the URL up there, and then they can just choose to go to it or not, and let them know, throw it in airplane mode. And so I don't know, that would be kind of cool. So they wouldn't just be sitting there listening, they'd also see it, firsthand. So I don't know, that would be my advice for that. He says, can you combine XML and Java with IntelliJ? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. To make an app. I have no idea. If anybody else has any experience with that, please let us know. But I have no idea if you could. Okay. Justin says, I would not have thought of that. Good idea. Thank you. Oh, yeah, no problem. If you can, it'd be awesome if you could let me know how it goes. So after you give the talk, if you come back to one of the live streams in the chat, I'd love to hear how it goes. And if you end up like publishing any slides or anything, or a video of your presentation, I'd love to see it. He says, you should make live stream tutorials teaching us to code. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I keep seeing emails popping up while I've been streaming, and I'm currently on an email chain with some people at the university discussing the possibility of me actually becoming a professor and teaching some web development courses. So I might be like legit teaching, so we'll see how that goes. If that actually happens, I could definitely see it being really beneficial to do a lot of video tutorials for you all and for my students, so that way, it'd be difficult if I just go into classroom, demonstrate something, and leave it at that, right? It's so much better if they would have the ability to rewatch things, right? So I'll probably end up doing that. So I don't know when that will happen, but based on like the tiny preview messages that I've been seeing going back and forth, it seems like it's a possibility. Oh, cool. I had a few congratulations for that. Oh, thank you. It hasn't happened yet, but it would be cool if it does happen. I would be an adjunct professor, which I don't know how adjunct professors work in other countries, but in the United States, they're usually not paid very much. So it wouldn't be like I'd make a bunch of money off it, but it would kind of be like a fun thing to do. And I think it would be helpful. It'd be helpful for me because I would really have to kind of learn even more to be able to teach it, and I think it would be really helpful for the students as well to get some like practical, kind of cutting edge experience with what the latest in web development is. Okay, let me see what time it is. All right, well, this stream is going on almost 2 hours now, and I've gotten through everything in the live chat. If I skipped over your question, it was definitely not intentional. So you can ask me in the comments or DM me or something, and I'd be happy to ask, or wait for the next stream. Let's see. I'll be back in the office tomorrow, so I should be able to stream. And thank you all so much for all your help today. Definitely couldn't have gotten this far without you all. It was super helpful, and yeah, so I think that's it for me today. So I'll see y'all tomorrow, hopefully. And until then, have a great day.